I think at some point we've all sat down and wondered what our purpose is in this world. Unless you're like 9 years old watching this, and in that case, I'll see you in a couple years when the existential dread kicks in. The feeling of doing something with your life, making some kind of memorable impact, provides meaning to our time on this planet and comforts us in knowing that we're not going to waste this precious life of ours. Though, in my experience, while it can be motivating, if you're not careful with how you approach it and how you let it affect your mental state, it can quickly turn into more of a detriment than anything else. I experienced this a couple days ago with my own YouTube channel. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to make YouTube videos. When I was younger, pretty much the only other thing I do that wasn't playing video games was watching videos and sometimes making them myself. I don't know what it was, and I still couldn't tell you exactly why, but there was something about it that just made me feel fulfilled. Flash forward to today with this YouTube channel, and it's been great for the most part, though I have found myself overthinking a lot about why I'm doing it, what my end goal is, if I should be doing something else, among other unhelpful thought processes. A definite part of this is there being too much attachment to the outcome. By that, I mean if I upload a video I think will do well and it doesn't, that's an instant hit to my motivation, and if I'm not careful, I enter this state of doubt which leads me down all sorts of other rabbit holes. Another element to it, I think, is thinking too much about the future. I tend to adopt an all or nothing mindset where I'm like, okay, this thing I'm into, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I also tend to think things happen more linearly than they often do, which leads me to fall into self-doubt when it's not like that, which is the case more often than not. There's constant ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you're always going up, even if it's at a slower rate than you'd prefer, and that's just something I gotta remember. I think I overthink my purpose because I don't mentally prepare myself enough for these unforeseen obstacles, things that I didn't expect to happen, and overall just expect things to play out in specific ways and for certain goals to be achieved when I'd like them to be. And as with most things in life, that really isn't the best mindset to approach things with. There are so many things out of our control, and with the internet and social media and everything, it's really easy to think we understand things more than we actually do, which ends up being a rude awakening when things don't play out the way we expect them to. A way of combating this I'm going to try to implement is approaching my goals with more patience, more realistic expectations, and try to detach myself from the outcome as much as I can. But to speak more about actual purpose for a moment, I think at least in my case, I overthink about what my purpose is. There are things I enjoy doing, but I get in my own head thinking, okay, is this my purpose? When I stopped making YouTube videos a while back, I started making music for a while and decided, okay, this is my purpose. Then when I lost interest in that, I started practicing martial arts, so I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is my purpose. Then I decided to shift my focus to more weight training and started thinking that this was my purpose. And the cycle just continued and continued. I fell out of these things largely due to the thought processes I mentioned earlier. But when these feelings came up the other day, when I was feeling super unmotivated with YouTube, after some time away with it, I came to the realization that I keep repeating this cycle, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. We can believe all we want about purpose, meaning, why we're on this earth, but if we don't come at it with the right mindset, we're just going to end up stressed and disappointed with ourselves when we don't live up to the unrealistic expectations we often set for ourselves. And at the end of the day, we decide what our purpose is. Nobody tells you what it is, at least they shouldn't, because your life is your own, and what you do should be what you want to do, not out of responsibility for someone or something else. But this is a double-edged sword, because just as we create these purposes and fill ourselves with passion and motivation, we just as easily create reasons to quit when things get difficult and fall back on past ways of thinking. I think the final message I want to get out in this video is if you have a passion or dream, follow it. Just understand that there are so many things out of your control, so if something goes quote-unquote wrong, don't blame yourself, don't blame someone else, just keep doing what you love and constantly try to enjoy the process. We're only here for a short amount of time, so whatever you personally deem your purpose is, whatever goal you have, you may as well enjoy the ride while you can.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.